In this video, we are going to talk through an introduction to the distributive property, and we're going to go through 8 examples. So let's jump into example 1, which is 3 times the quantity of 5 plus 2. So I'm going to show you guys how we can do this using the distributive property, and then show you how it's the same as solving this or evaluating it just using PEMDAS. So when we're multiplying something by the sum or difference between some number of terms, the distributive property says we can take the number on the outside and distribute it into the inside. And what that means is we can take this 3 and multiply it by the first number or term. So we're going to do 3 times 5. And then we're going to add that to 3 times the second term. So because we have 5 plus 2, we're going to add that to 3 times 2. And now we can just simplify each of these products. So 3 times 5 is 15, and 3 times 2 is 6. And then we can add these together, and 15 plus 6 gives us 21. Now you're probably thinking that you could have just added the 5 and 2 first and then multiplied that by 3, and you can do it that way. So I'm going to show you why the distributive property works. So down here, we can rewrite this as 3 times, and then PEMDAS tells us to add what's in the parentheses first. So 5 plus 2 is 7. And we know that 3 times 7 is equal to 21. So that shows you guys that the distributive property works. And the distributive property is going to come in handy when we're dealing with variables, or if we want to multiply larger products. So I know these problems probably seem like it's easier to just use PEMDAS, but we need to go through them using the distributive property so that we understand how to use it. So let's jump into example 2, which is 8 times the quantity of 10 minus 6. So again, we want to distribute the 8 into the parentheses. So we're going to do 8 times 10. And this time we have 10 minus 6. So we're going to subtract 8 times 6. So we distribute the 8 into the 6. So we have 8 times 10 minus 8 times 6. 8 times 10 is 80, minus 8 times 6 is 48. And if we subtract 80 minus 48, we get 32. And now just to show you that this is correct, you can just use PEMDAS. So instead of 8 times 10 minus 6, we can subtract 10 minus 6 to get 4. And we know 8 times 4 is 32, so we know we're correct. So I encourage you guys to try examples 3 and 4 on your own, and then you can watch me work through them to make sure you've done them correctly. So example 4 is 4 times the quantity of 7 plus 3. So we're going to distribute the 4 in. So we're going to multiply 4 times 7. And then we're adding 7 and 3 in the parentheses. So we're going to add that to 4 times 3. And 4 times 7 is 28. And 4 times 3 is 12. And 28 plus 12 is 40. And just to show you guys that this works, if we use PEMDAS, instead of 7 plus 3, we can just add 7 and 3 to get 10. So we really have 4 times 10, which is 40. So we have 40 either way. And finally, looking at example 4, we're going to distribute this 12 in. So we're going to do 12 times 9, and we're subtracting in the parentheses. So we're going to subtract 12 times 4. 12 times 9 is 108. And 12 times 4 is 48. And 108 minus 48 gives us 60. And we'll just confirm this is correct by using PEMDAS. So 9 minus 4 is 5. So we're really doing 12 minus 5, which is 60. So we know we're correct. So now we're going to go over 4 examples that involve variables. So for these last 4 examples, we have expressions involving variables. So we're not actually going to be able to use PEMDAS to combine what's inside the parentheses. So this is one of the instances where the distributive property may come in handy. So let's jump into example 5. We have 2 times the quantity of x plus 3. So we're going to distribute this 2 in. So we need to do 2 times x. And then we're going to add that to 2 times 3. So plus 2 times 3. And now we're going to simplify. 2 times x is just 2x. And 2 times 3 is 6. So we get 2x plus 6 as our simplified expression. Taking a look at example 6, we're going to distribute the a in. So we're going to do a times b. And then we're going to subtract a times c. And we can't really do much when we're multiplying variables, so it's just going to be ab minus AC. And now for these last two examples, I encourage you guys to pause the video and try them on your own, and then you can watch me work through them to make sure you've done them correctly. So for example 7, we have 7 times the quantity of k minus 6. So we're going to distribute the 7 in. So we're going to multiply 7 times k, and then we're going to subtract 7 minus 6. Whoops, subtract 7 times 6. 7 times k is just 7k. And we're going to subtract 7 times 6, which is 42. So we get 7k minus 42. And finally, our last example is x times the quantity of y plus z. So we're going to distribute the x in. So we're going to do x times y. And then we want to add that to x times z. And again, when you're multiplying variables, you can't really simplify it. So we're just going to write this as xy plus xz. So hopefully this video gave you guys a little bit of an introduction to the distributive property. If you want some practice problems that are similar to what we worked through today, check out the link in our description for a free practice worksheet.